Hi everyone, this video is about if, the if statement, the if condition, if. What do we do with if? Have if something is less than something else, or is it greater than something else, or is it the same as something else? It's asking a question so it can make a decision based upon the outcome, and something is either going to be true or false. It either is the same, or it is less, or it isn't. The comparisons can be of one or more things, but in this example I've just given a comparison between two things so that we can see what's going on here. Because if you're watching these videos, you're probably into coding anyway, and therefore you already know about if statements and what they do. You just want to know how to implement it in Cobol. Well, we do this by using if, the if keyword. Now notice there's no brackets, and there's no semicolons, and there's not even a full stop. The full stop is right down here, which is the end of this whole if block. So we have the condition at the top, and then following the condition we then have what to do if that criteria is met. If this condition is not met, it's just going to skip straight over it and go on to this one. If this condition is met, then it's going to output that, and then it's going to look at this and then skip over it. We can think of an if statement as like railway tracks, where one condition is met, the train carrying the variable goes down one road or one track, and if it meets another condition, then it's like that track is then switched, and the train carrying the variable goes down some other track. It might not be carrying a variable, it might just be telling it to do some piece of information. So if we have a look here at what if is doing in this program, and then we'll look at the whole program, and then we'll run it, and then I'll walk through it so you can see what's going on. The if statement is comparing this variable to this other variable, and if it's satisfied, it's going to display all of this code, and it's going to assess whether user letter 1, because this let is going to be letter, and user letter 2. So in this program you enter in two letters. The program compares the letters and decides whether where they are in the alphabet. You know, so if I put in a Q and an A, it's going to tell us that A comes before Q. All right. The other thing about if statements is that it's good practice to indent them, and indent them correctly. So you've got 4 spaces, and then you have another 4 spaces inside of this if statement. So let's look at a program and see how it runs. If I zoom in, and I said A and Q for the first example, didn't I? So I enter in the A, and now it's saying please enter letter 2, and I said Q, so let's put that in, and now it says the answer is A comes before Q, which is correct. If we do that again with 2 other letters, let's do W and G, it says the answer is G comes before W. And just one more. If I do A and then B, it says the answer A is the A comes before B. So it's using these if statements. It's using these if statements to decide whether A comes before W or any other letter that we put in. It's making a comparison between these two letters. So let's look at what's going on. First of all, you'll notice I haven't got any numbers down the side here because I'm using source free format. And it's just that I've indented everything over here so it still looks familiar. We have the identification program, the name of the program, we've talked about that. The author, that's me. The environment division, the data division, we've spoken about this before. Working storage section, and here are the variables. So I've got 3 variables. I've got num, which is short for number, and then I've got user letter 1, user letter 2, and I've given them enough space for one character or one integer. So this is why the 9 is there, because it gives the space for one integer. The X here, these are alphanumerical, so they use an X and it's going to accept one character. If I try to put in any more, it would just trim it. So the procedure division, this is where the main part of the program runs. The program begin is the name of the paragraph, of the first paragraph. Perform, I've spoken about those in the last video, or these perform, the keyword perform. I've spoken about perform before in a previous video, and it's calling initialize program. So initialize program is called, it runs, and what it does is it moves a space to user led 1 and moves a space to user led 2 and moves 1 to num. So it's telling what the initial values are. That's why it's called initialize program. Then it jumps back up to where it left off, which is here, and it moves to the next line and goes perform get input. So this time it goes down and it goes down and it goes down until it finds get input, and then it displays please enter letter. Num is the variable and at present contains 1, and then it's saying that you should enter no more than 1 character, and it is accepting that value into user led 1. So that space now becomes whatever character you put in. This is just about tidiness. It just creates a space between the lines so it's easier for people to read. Here, add, the add keyword, I'm using the add keyword to add 1. And what am I adding it to? I'm adding it to number, or num, the variable num. So num already contains 1, so if I can add 1 to it, it now contains 2. If we look back over here, it says please enter letter 1, and then once you've done that, it then says please enter letter 2, because this variable has changed, and that's how that was done. And that is accepted into user let 2, so that's accepted into the other variable that had the space in it. And then again, the space there is just tidiness. It gets to here, it's at the end, so it goes back up to the end of that statement, moves to the next line and does perform decision. Right, so we look for make decision and come down and it finds make decision, and in make decision is where the if statements are. We have if user let 1 is less than user let 2, display the answer is, and then a space, and then it tells which order to put them in. If this condition is not met, then it just doesn't perform it, just skips it, and then moves on to this one. This condition, if this condition is met, then it runs this code. So you can see how that works now. It's pretty easy to do. The important things to remember are the indentation for tidiness and readability. One thing I didn't mention was if the code, like here, If I zoom out a bit, if the code goes over this line here, then you need to put the hyphen in and separate it out. But it doesn't in this code, so we're lucky. The other thing that we need to remember about the if statement is the full stop doesn't come after every line. This is one single line. You can think of this as one single line, and it's going to read all of this, bum 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 bum, and then it gets to that full stop, which is the end of the if statement. So it's different from other programs where, you know, you might have brackets, you could have curly brackets that are separating this out, or you know, Python wouldn't have the curly brackets, but it might have the parentheses in here. Well, this doesn't have any of that. It just has it like it is now. So that's a basic if statement. And there are going to be other kinds of if statement, if, else, and I'll look at that in the next video. But for now, this video is just about this if statement and getting used to this if statement. So try making a program. You know, don't just copy this one. Try making a program your own, making a comparison of two different things. You know, it could be numbers, in which case you would have to change these to numbers, because otherwise they're going to be string. You know, get the program to do some basic tasks so that you get an opportunity to learn. That's it for now. Have a great day and keep coding.